A language model once told a lawyer that 6 specific court cases supported his legal argument. The cases were real-sounding. The citations were detailed. Every single one was fabricated. The model didn't hesitate, didn't hedge, didn't flag uncertainty. It produced the wrong answer with exactly the same tone it uses when it's right. That's symmetry. That's what should stop you cold. We tend to frame AI errors as a quality problem. The model gets things wrong sometimes, we say, and we need to improve accuracy. That framing is reasonable, but it misses something more fundamental. The issue isn't only that the system makes mistakes, it's that the system has no internal mechanism, none, for feeling the difference between a mistake and a correct answer. When you're wrong about something, your body often knows before your mind catches up. You feel a faint friction when a claim doesn't quite fit what you remember. You hesitate. You look again. That friction is doing cognitive work. It's your brain flagging a mismatch between what you just said and what your accumulated experience suggests is true. It's not infallible, but it's something. It's a mechanism. Large language models don't have that. When they produce text, they're doing something closer to sophisticated pattern completion, predicting the most statistically plausible next token given everything that came before. That process has no internal checkpoint that asks, is this actually true? It asks something more like, does this fit? Fit and truth are not the same thing. They can rhyme very convincingly. There's a technical concept that captures part of this: calibration. A well-calibrated system, when it says it's 90% confident, should be right about 90% of the time. Current language models are notoriously miscalibrated. They express high confidence on questions they get wrong, and sometimes hedge on things they actually know well. The confidence signal and the accuracy signal are decoupled in ways that are hard to predict and harder to detect from the outside. And here is where it gets practically important. When a human expert is wrong, there are usually traces. They'll remember the source they got it from, which you can check. They'll have told other people who might contradict them. They carry their reasoning visibly, in a way that leaves handles you can grip. A language model's output arrives fully formed, without the scaffolding of how it got there. The error has no return address. Some people point to a partial solution here: reasoning models or chain-of-thought outputs that show the model's working. And that does help. It gives you something to audit. But even a model that shows its reasoning can be wrong in its reasoning and produce a chain of confident-sounding steps that leads to a confident-sounding wrong conclusion. Showing the steps doesn't guarantee any of those steps are grounded in reality. It can make errors more legible without making them less frequent. There's a philosophical dimension here too, which is worth sitting with rather than glossing over. Knowing that you might be wrong requires a model of yourself as a knower, some capacity to represent your own reliability as separate from the content of what you're saying. Humans have this, imperfectly. We can step back and ask, wait, how do I actually know this? That metacognitive move is part of what makes knowledge different from confident-sounding output. Language models don't have that self-model in any deep sense. They can be prompted to say, I'm not sure, and increasingly, they do. But that hedging is itself a learned pattern, not a genuine uncertainty signal. The model has been trained to produce hedges in certain contexts, because that's what human text does in those contexts. The hedge and the error underneath it can coexist perfectly well. The hedge is stylistic. The problem is structural. This doesn't mean AI outputs are useless. They're clearly not. But it does mean the burden of verification has quietly shifted onto you in ways that aren't always visible. When you use a search engine, and it returns 10 links, you know you're supposed to evaluate them. The interface makes the epistemic responsibility obvious. When a language model returns a confident paragraph, the interface implies the work is done. That implied completeness is part of what makes the error so much harder to catch. Researchers and engineers are genuinely working on this. Retrieval augmented generation, where the model pulls from verified sources before answering, reduces hallucination rates meaningfully. Constitutional AI approaches try to build in self-critique loops. These are real improvements, but each of them is still fundamentally a patch applied from the outside, a structural addition that tries to compensate for the absence of an internal truth-tracking mechanism that wasn't there to begin with. What does this mean for how we use these tools day to day? It means the skill we most need to develop isn't prompt engineering. It's something older and less glamorous. Source hygiene, cross-referencing, the willingness to sit with, I need to check this. The same critical reading we were taught before AI arrived, now applied specifically to AI outputs, which look authoritative in a way that makes that critical reading feel unnecessary. The fluency is a kind of trap. There is also a subtler version of this problem that I think matters more than the hallucination cases, where the error is at least detectable if you check. It's the cases where the model is wrong in ways that are hard to check, where it's given you a slightly off framing of a complicated situation, a summary that quietly omits the thing that would have changed your thinking, a confident-sounding account of a nuanced debate that irons out all the nuance. Those errors don't announce themselves. They just quietly shape what you believe. The deepest issue is this: we are building tools that communicate in the register of knowledge. Clear sentences, confident claims, appropriate hedges, without the architecture that produces genuine knowledge, which includes the capacity to be wrong in a way that the knower can sense and correct. That gap between the register and the reality is where almost every practical problem with AI outputs lives. We're not helpless in front of this. The gap is manageable if we see it clearly. But seeing it requires resisting the pull of the confident paragraph, the smooth answer, the frictionless response that feels like understanding, because it reads like understanding. The friction we need to preserve is our own. The model won't feel it for us. That's not a flaw to be patched in the next version. It's a structural feature of what these systems are.